Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to our Fallout Tale of Two Wastelands, where last time we caught up with the Enclave and helped out the Brotherhood in their war with Talon Company. And today, I'm going to try and show you some of the most weird and obscure content in all of Fallout 3, and yes, in that sentence, the word try is really rather crucial, because what I'm going to try and showcase today is so obscure and so well hidden, there's no guarantee I'm even going to be able to get some of it to spawn. So, basically, welcome to the weird and wonderful world of random events in Fallout 3. But okay, let's get everyone caught up, make sure we're on the same page, because you will be completely forgiven for not understanding what random events are or how they work in Fallout 3, because the game never explains them in any capacity. They're just a secret mechanic going on in the background. So, okay, let's start at the basics here. In Fallout 3, on occasion, you'll just be walking along and a thing will happen. An enemy might just ambush you, or a traitor just runs up and says, hello, it's good to see a friendly face, which might be a bit confusing because there definitely wasn't anybody there just a second ago. That may well have been one of various spots all around the map where if you walk up to them, the game generates a random event, or to be precise, the game checks against a list of available random events and serves you one of those at random. This is why you might play Fallout 3, be walking down a road and be ambushed by a monster, and then play a second game of Fallout 3, walk down the same road, and something completely different happens. A different random event got drawn. And right now I'm round the back of Megaton. If I just mosey on in this direction, then just take a right and head towards these trees over here. Here we flipping go. There is now red on the compass. These guys were not here a second ago. But if I just reload the universe and then just go to the exact same area again, here we go, same location, but on this occasion, completely different encounter. A handful of raiders instead. And this is actually one of my favourite mechanics in all of Fallout 3, because it just adds so much to the game, it is so clever. And to my mind, yeah, there are three things in particular it contributes to Fallout 3. The first is, it's a really good way of recreating how encounters in the Wastelands used to work back in Fallout 1 and 2. So of course, back in those days, you would navigate the overworld on a really zoomed out map. At which point you would, at random, run into various events and be taken down onto the ground to resolve those however you wish to do so. And this is a really cool way of recreating that in 3D, just creating a scenario where just occasionally you're going to get ambushed or taken by surprise by something you couldn't see coming. And sort of connected to that, it's also just a really good way of reinforcing the atmosphere that the Fallout 3 Wasteland is supposed to have, which is, in Fallout 3, the Wasteland's supposed to be lonely, scary, a bit chaotic and unpredictable. And you can tell that's the case even without the random encounters, because in Fallout 3, all the creatures and raiders and whatnot have got really generous roam zones, i.e. the area they're allowed to wander into, which is why in Fallout 3, all the time, you'll see creatures fighting each other. Bears attacking super mutants, robots attacking scorpions, it just happens all the bloody time. In fact, I'm pretty sure I just heard some gunfire around the corner, and yes, there is a big terrifying scorpion that I'm pretty confident, yes, just walked straight through the outcast, because you do not want to mess with the broken steel scorpions, alright? Seriously, take my word for it. And finally, and this is the most interesting one, this is how Fallout 3 deals with consequences that come out of completed quests, unlike Fallout New Vegas, where the long-term consequences are narrated to you in a slideshow at the end of the game. Fallout 3 doesn't really have such a slideshow, rather, it's got a very, very abbreviated one that only covers the main plot. As for submissions, the consequences for those are actually included in the game itself. They just come up to you in the Wasteland in random events, but it's also very easy to potentially miss them if the right one doesn't spawn in. So, back to Fort Bannister, and as we make our way towards a very important location I'm going to be spending a bit of time in today, let's talk about one of those events that I literally can't spawn into this game because I didn't resolve a quest in a particular way. So, Superhuman Gambit. Obviously for me, I just talked the heroes down and resolved it nice and peacefully, no trouble whatsoever. That is how I resolved it, right? I honestly can't remember, but I'm assuming I resolved it peacefully. Like, you know, the really elegant way, where you learn about comic books and tell what's-her-face about the comic books, so she just stands down peacefully, etc, etc. But if you don't do it that way, if you side with the antagonizer, an event that can spawn into the world is, you'll just run into the antagonizer, round the Wasteland, and she will be leading a group of ants, and they'll just be murdering some Wastelanders. And I can't see that one, obviously, because that's not how I resolve that mission. But plenty of other missions that I have done do have events that I could still theoretically run into. And that's what I'm gonna try and show off today. So what I've done is, yes, I've come north from Fort Bannister to this lovely location right here. This is a waste disposal site. Not the sexiest location in the world, not by a long shot, but it is rather useful in a very different way, which is to say, it is one of the more reliable locations to spawn certain random events, because there's nothing there right now, you can see on the compass, but in just a second, I just mosey on over the hill. Okay, I know it looks like I've just embarrassed myself hilariously, because nothing's there, but something is here, a corpse is here. This corpse wasn't here a minute ago, I promise. I can prove it to you, okay? Let's just go back in time a tiny bit, go over in this direction, hop over the fence again, and on this occasion, something completely different is present, including no corpse whatsoever. Today, the scavenger's doing much better, and that's why this location is really rather useful. Basically, I can just drop a save up on that hill, and then run down here, jump the fence, and there's going to be a different event every single time. Which means if I just keep doing that over and over, eventually the game's going to show me the interesting ones. Though, speaking of which, we've got one right away. I'm pretty sure this is the robot repair event.
There's nothing wrong with the outside of you. Something wrong with the inside, then?
Current paperwork on residents now 220 years out of date. Please contact local planning authorities to obtain new paperwork.
Evening.
So there we go. Something is wrong with this here Mr. Handy. He appears to be a bit on the malfunctioning side.
Oh, hey there. Do you need something?
Oh, on the contrary. Don't you worry, buddy. I might just be able to help out with your robots.
You really know robots, huh? Great to meet another mechanic. I stumbled across this model a while ago. I just can't seem to fix it.
And don't worry, I will get this working for you, though admittedly given subroutines are mentioned. This really feels more of a science check than a repair check, but sure, whatever, we'll go for it, it's fine. So as a result, buddy, how about, yes, rather than just sabotaging the robot, because that would be a dick thing to do, instead, we rewire the diagnostic system. Okay, I guess, like, you know, wiring feels repair-y, but diagnostic system, that feels sciencey to me. And there we go, reset the circuitry, it should now behave normally.
How may I serve you, Master?
And there we go, he's back into service mode, mega-flipping-nificent.
Hey, what happened with the robot?
All fixed up, no trouble whatsoever.
Thanks. Nice to meet a fellow mechanic out here in the wasteland. Here's your payment.
So there we go, and that was 2 energy cells. 2 cooking energy cells. Okay, you don't get to live. That, buddy, was nowhere near enough money. You belong to me now, by the way. Okay, he doesn't even mind. That's magnificent.
What is it now, ma'am?
Now, luckily for this bastard, we're going to be playing in a lot of alternative universes today. So, good news for him, he doesn't stay dead. Though bad news, it's possible he's never going to be spawned at all. Because, yes, we're now going to revert back in time and try and spawn a different event. Though, the downside is, yes, one, there's nothing to stop this guy now spawning again, because I'm going to be going back in time, meaning, as time goes on, finding every single event I'd like to show off might be a bit on the tricky side. I've got a list next to me of everyone I'd like to show, and when we get up to, like, maybe 90% of them, I'll just tell you about the others, so this doesn't take me all day. Although, funny old thing, before we start doing that, which is, I need to go back to base and grab something very particular, which is, one of the 2 outfits I got from the Superhuman Gambit. Mechanist will do just fine, because, yes indeed, random events aren't just random. The game actually has a lot going on in the background to determine what events may or may not spawn. Some of them are tied to geographic areas. So, for example, there are a bunch of events where humans are being captured or attacked by super mutants that can only spawn around Vault 87 or Germantown Police Headquarters, i.e. prominent super mutant bases. Others, as I was discussing earlier, are tied to the status of various quests, some are even tied to time of day or night, and just one, in fact, is tied to what you're wearing. There's a special event that can only trigger in the event that you've completed the Superhuman Gambit and you're wearing the full armor set from one of the 2 heroes you run into. So that's what we're gonna do to see if I can get that one. before we get going, one other complicated problem I may run into, which is, I don't know for certain that some of the events I'd like to show off today I haven't already spawned. Some are repeatable, you can run into them over and over again. Others are one-off only. Once you've seen them, they're never going to spawn again, but it's entirely possible. In a previous episode, I could have walked past a random encounter location, had it spawn in, and just run the other way without seeing it, meaning as far as the game's concerned, it's already been completed, so it's not going to show me it again, so... yes, funny old world. It's entirely possible some of the events I'd love to show I already did spawn, and as a result they're just never going to show up again. But you know what? We'll figure it out as we go. It's going to be great. Oh, here we go. Today we've got a bit of action going on, and... oh, I recognise this one. We've got ourselves a mysterious fridge here. So, okay, bunch of Wastelanders are just going to start murdering each other. This guy with the rifle, I'm pretty sure he's always going to win, though... okay, on this occasion, slightly awkward standoff here. Guys, would you like to maybe, like, I don't know, take each other out or something? No, they're just happy to chill out. Okay, no, none of that escaped slave. Yes, this is a fight between escaped slaves and a Wastelander, where basically they both want access to the fridge. The reason being, if we chat to this lovely individual...
I hope you're not here for that water, because we're leaving with it, and my mama never taught me to share.
hang around too long, take any of it from the fridge, they will try and murder you. Unless you speech check them, though, even with my speech as it is, apparently this guy really wants the water.
I guess I'll take being robbed over being killed. But I don't have to like it. Take your water and get the hell out of here.
And there we go, I can have my... Oh, blimey! And there we go, 10 lovely purified water. And on this occasion, we've got ourselves, okay, that is... Hang on, are you hunters by any chance? Yes, indeed, hunters. The hunter event is actually kind of cool. For the simple reason that, yes, it's not actually one event, it's about 5 events in one. The game spawns a couple of hunters, sometimes up to 3 or 4, I believe, and a creature that they're hunting. But the creature is randomized. It can be something nice and easy to take out, like, you know, a dog or a mole rat, or it can be all the way up to a Yao Guai. And if it's a Yao Guai, typically without your assistance, the bear will win. And depending on which creature it is, their dialogue actually changes to talk about how tasty the relevant animal actually is.
There's nothing better than fresh dog, don't you think? We'll be happy to set you up with something if you're hungry.
And there we go. He specifically mentions the fact they were fighting a dog, and there are unique lines of dialogue attached to each type of animal they can be hunting, which I think is pretty damn cool. Oh, and here we go. We have just got an important plot one, which is, you may actually recognise that jacket down on the ground over there. Because on this particular occasion, it's a Tunnel Snake's jacket. It's Freddy Gomez. In the event that you go back to Vault 101 and blow up the generator, forcing the people out into the wasteland, there are 2 events that triggers. One is a martyr running into the Enclave. We saw that one previously just outside Vault 106. And the other is other members of Vault 101 who are literally just dead. So Freddy Gomez just lying dead out in the wasteland. And this is also, of course, another way of getting a Tunnel Snake outfit. Now, I believe there should be a couple more members around here as well, but possibly just because, yeah, this is a fairly small environment, there's not space for the others to spawn. But I swear there should potentially be more than just his corpse dotted around, but I don't see any others. So, yes indeed, on this occasion, Vault 101 people dead out in the wasteland, and honestly, I think this is a really good and underrated system. Like, sure, Fallout 3 could have ended in a slideshow that said, after the Lone Wanderer forced the residents of Vault 101 out into the wasteland, many of them died, unprepared for their new life. Aside from a martyr, who was captured by the Enclave, her fate unknown. And absolutely, that would have been fine. I just think it's more compelling to be literally confronted by the consequences of what you've done. The alternative, by the way, in the event that, like, you know, you help out Vault 101 by encouraging them to open up the vault but without blowing up the generator, is you can run into Susie Mac out in the wasteland. And she's just doing very, very well. She just says, hey, we're doing great, thanks for your help previously. Meanwhile, of course, if you tell them to lock down the vault and not go outside, then no event gets added into the deck. Because they've locked themselves inside, they're not going outside anymore, it only makes sense. Oh, here we go. Today we've got a handful of ghouls, and I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are after.
Thanks for not attacking us. Most people don't tolerate ghouls.
And no problem at all, my good man, do not try and rob them, there's no way they'll give you anything, they will just attack you on sight. Instead, be nice and polite and ask them what they're doing.
We were on our way to Underworld, but we couldn't make it past the super mutants. So now we're just going to find our own place in the wasteland.
So there we go. Basically, they tell you about Underworld, and in the event you've not come across Underworld, they can now add it to your map. Oh, hello there, Mr. Laszlo Radford. Okay, now this is a really weird one, which is, yes, Laszlo Radford only starts spawning onto the map in the event you have received at least one schematic for the railway rifle. Once that schematic is in your possession, this guy starts spawning, because he, in fact, is in possession of a railway rifle. So he can't spawn before you get the schematic, otherwise you could get the gun before you know what it is. But as soon as you have the ability to have your own, at that point he decides he's going to start spawning in. And you know what, buddy? I've got my own railway rifle right here, so I see no reason whatsoever why we wouldn't turn this into a lovely railway off. So just a couple of shots in the head, please, and... okay, we missed him twice in a row on 62%, but then, lovely. And there we go, there's his head pinned to the rock. So you live by the railway rifle, you die by the railway rifle. You know what, I will tell you, this is going really well so far. I've only been like, cycling this location for like 20 minutes, and I've already seen a whole bunch of different relatively uncommon events. So I'm pretty happy with how this is going, though should point out, this here is only about half the random events in the game, because there are two distinct different types. Type A, which are static events that take place in one fixed location, and Type B, where the event is on the move. It starts in one location and starts walking across the wasteland. This is Type A, because it just happens in this tiny nook right here next to the waste disposal site. We'll have to go elsewhere if we want to see any Type Bs. Oh, hang on, I think today we've got ourselves, yes indeed, it is the Hunters again, but this time they're taking on a much more dangerous opponent, the Giant Soldier Ant. So, yeah, given they're basically wearing no armor, you're in a lot of trouble. Then again, actually, you know what? It's going to be not that close, actually. This guy's doing surprisingly well under the circumstances. So, alright, buddy, what would you like to tell me about ant meat?
That'll make for some nice juicy steaks. If you like ant, that is.
And there we go, apparently nice juicy ant steak. Oh, hang on, I think we've got the really rare one I really wanted to see, which is a child is running up to me. And I think I know precisely what he wants.
The Mechanist! You're the awesomest person ever. Can I have your autograph?
Okay, I bet 99.9% of you have never seen this before. In the event that you complete Superhuman Gambit and then run around wearing one of the two armors and happen to stumble across the right Type A event, a child will run up to you and ask you for an autograph. And if you want to, you can try and charge him for it. Though, I'm gonna be honest, buddy, how would you like to actually have my super suit? Because I don't really need it for anything. So you, buddy, you could be the Mechanist going forwards.
You're the best, Mechanist. I'll never forget this.
And there we flipping go. The kid is now going to wear the Mechanist armor and just run off into the wasteland. And he's not going to die because he's a child and it's Fallout 3, so he functionally can't die. Though hilariously he didn't take the helmet. I mean, I kind of meant him to take the helmet too, but if you just left me standing here in a helmet on my underwear, okay, hilarious.
Another wasteland survivor, huh? Sorry, but I don't got enough to share. Get your own copy of the book and do your own hunting.
Oh, never mind. Okay, hang on. When I approached this guy, I thought he was a hunter who was just hunting a Milo, but no, this is another quest one. So, welcome to the consequences of the Wasteland Survival Guide. If you make a really bad book, i.e. you don't do enough of the optional side objectives, you just half-ass the book, this guy will basically fail miserably in a fight, start running away, and if you actually catch up with him and speak to him, he'll say, that book is useless, it almost got me killed, something of that nature. On the other hand, if you do an incredible job, make it the perfect book, do all the optional objectives, then this guy has read the book and now he's a certified wasteland badass, meaning when you come across him, he is just murdering a creature because he's doing really well. So buddy, tell me about this book you've read.
Ain't you heard of the Wasteland Survival Guide? Bought one off a trader, and it's the reason my family's back up to 2 meals a day.
okay, this is just a lovely one. It just always makes me feel really good, because I always bother to do every optional side objective, and it's just really nice to just run into someone out in the waste who's actually read it and is actually thriving because of the work I did. This is just so nice.
Is that so? Well, thanks, stranger. You and that Moira girl done all right by me and mine. Nice writing.
Oh, here we go. The hunters are back, but this time after mole rat, so just help out with that nonsense, and let's figure out how tasty mole rat is.
A bit gamey for my taste, but there's some folks that like a nice bit of mole rat. If you like it fresh, I'm selling.
A fascinating insight into what mole rat tastes like there. And to be honest, we already knew that it wasn't really everybody's cup of tea in terms of flavour, given there is specifically an operation set up in the Jury Street Metro in order to make it taste better. So we kind of already got the impression elsewhere in Fallout 3 that mole rat is not the tastiest meat. Okay, I've run into Freddy Gomez again, but I'm gonna be honest, on this occasion, yes, the Wasteland was an even nastier location for him. He did even worse this time. Oh, here's one I'm not sure about. A Wastelander taking on a Mirelurk. I have not seen this one yet today, and actually I'm not sure what this one is off the top of my head.
Greetings, fellow survivor. Another fine day in the wastes, isn't it?
No, seriously, who the cock are you and why are you so cheerful?
Why shouldn't I be? I've got food, I've got shelter, and I know humanity is on the rise again. Haven't you heard the good news? Haven't you read the Wasteland Survival Guide?
Okay, this is a second Wasteland Survival Guide event. I have never seen this one before. I knew about the first guy who was taking on the mole rat, but I did not know there was another one with this woman. Possibly because, yes, she was taking on an entire Mirelurk, and that previous guy was taking on a mole rat. The mole rat event is if the book is okay or better, but she only spawns in the event it's, as good as it can be, because she's taking on the tougher opponent, so... Okay, I have not seen this one before.
Glory be! You're the great survivor! Bless you! Oh, bless you for sharing your wisdom with mankind! You've given us all a chance to hope again.
Okay, possibly I wrote the book slightly too well. I seem to have accidentally started a religion here.
It teaches us how to live, and how to return to the paradise that was. Truly, it is our guide through this wasted land. Please, take these as my thanks. So many of us owe our lives to your great work. Bless you.
Okay, honestly I preferred the first guy. He was less weird about it. Also, I can't prove it, but I swear there is weighting in which events appear, because some of them you will see way more often than others if you're doing what I'm doing and just forcing them to spawn over and over again. The Dead Scavenger, I've seen 5 times in a world where lots of other events I've seen once or not at all. Oh, here's a fun one. Sometimes there's just a random pile of fragmites. If you've ever just randomly exploded in Fallout 3, there's a good chance it was just this particular event right here. Because funny old thing about these fragmines, they're not normal fragmines. You literally can't disarm them. You've just got to trigger them and then run away. Okay, I've been re-rolling this area for nearly an hour at this point, and unfortunately, a handful of events have still not shown up, which I'm going to assume therefore means I've already spawned them, and just I didn't see them, or I've forgotten I've already spawned them, and possibly they've already been in the series earlier, and, as I say, I just don't remember it. So, okay, what I'm particularly sad we didn't get to see is the consequence that comes out of Big Town, which is, depending on how you choose to help or not help Big Town, yes, you run into a scavenger out in the waste, basically in the form of a travelling trader. And depending on which tactic you taught them, that changes what he's carrying with him. So if you taught them to set up robots, which is what I did, he's being followed around by a couple of robots that he's going to sell to the town. If you went for sneaking, he says, hey, I'm taking some stealth boys. I don't remember the others. I think, yeah, guns is just ammo and whatnot. And I can't remember the full loadout, but yes, what he's got depends on what you taught them to do, like how you taught them to deal with the super mutant threat. Meanwhile, if you didn't help them and they ended up dead, you can still run into the same guy, but on this occasion, he's not going to Big Town to sell them something, he's going to scavenge the corpses. Another one that I'm actually, yes, now I think about it, pretty sure I must have run into and just forgotten about is the mysterious Deathclaw chase, which is you can come across a wounded Deathclaw chasing down a handful of Wastelanders, and if you save them, they will give you a map. a map that claims to be a treasure map. And the reason I say I'm pretty sure I must have run into this is because that map leads you to Rock Creek Caverns, which I've got on my Pip-Boy map as a location I've not visited yet, meaning someone must have told me about it, and I'm not sure there is anybody else that tells you about it, aside from the treasure map. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, a treasure map, we should go and find the treasure. Yeah, I'm not sure whether, like, you know, someone just forgot to add the treasure or something, but there's really not much going on in Rock Creek Caverns. Like, I've no idea what the treasure's supposed to be, it's just, yes, a small bit of metro tunnel that goes down into a cave system full of bloody Mirelurks. There's also the unconventional water beggar, Ben Canning, who, if you run into him and give him water when he asks for it, will then basically start walking the wasteland, following the exact same route the traders do, stopping outside major settlements on occasion. So you may well run into him again later, though he doesn't actually function as a shop or anything, he's just being a tourist for some reason. And finally, one of my favourites, I love this guy, Mel the Incompetent Raider, who will run up to you and try and rob you. But yes, there are various checks you can use to point out he's not doing a very good job doing it. And yes, it's very easy to talk him down and make him run away and leave you alone. He's not very good at his job. And that broadly is, to my mind, yes, all of the most interesting Type A encounters you can get. And some of them may just not be spawning in, because I've already run into them previously, didn't notice them, or they were eaten by other passing critters before I could get to them. That's entirely possible. Or Fallout 3 just broke. So okay, how about now we move over to somewhere else to activate the Type B events? So, Type B, as I was saying, are basically the patrolling events, where instead of just being a one location, you spawn in a handful of something, and they start walking in a particular direction. And this, to my mind, is one of the most reliable right here. We're just outside of Minefield right now, and our friends are going to spawn right here behind this rock. Because obviously, you know, the game doesn't want to actually spawn anyone while you're looking at it. So, generally, the spawn point is just round the corner from where the actual creatures are. So, we've established there was definitely nothing there, but Fallout 3 is about to perform its conjuring trick. What we're going to do is we're going to go down over here and loop around this blue car. And then we're going to go back up to the road, and in just a second, oh my goodness, there's now something there. So yes, whatever it was, they have just spawned round the back of that rock, and they're going to start walking in a particular direction. Also, there's definitely explosions going on around the corner. What are you guys fighting, by the way? Oh, flip me, they've run into the Enclave, and I'm pretty sure the Enclave weren't here before, so alright, I think we've run into one of the fighty ones. So, yes, this is a thing that can absolutely flipping happen on occasion. Which is, yes, you can actually spawn two distinct groups who start fighting each other. So, okay, please stop shooting me. I don't want you to shoot me. Okay, bare minimum, a couple of sneak attack crits and other crits against these guys. That'll do some. I wasn't even aiming at you. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, just keep taking these bastards down. It's all going to be fine. We're going to help out our friends the Outcast, damn it. Because you're a Hellfire Trooper and you're a dick. So just get out of the way, please. That should be, gosh darn it, not quite a kill, so I don't get my VATS back. Right. I've taken out the nasty one, you guys can take care of the rest. So yes, on occasion, you can spawn in just the Outcast, on occasion, you can spawn in just the Enclave, and on occasion, you can spawn in both at the same time, and they'll start fighting each other. So yes, you can just spawn small fights. If you've ever just, you know, been walking down an empty road, and suddenly a massive fight has broken out, it could well have been a scenario like this. Oh, I think I may have triggered another fight right here, so okay. Yes, you're Outcast. But on this occasion, yes, down the road, suddenly a giant pile of raiders have shown up, and oh guys. Okay, this one's going to be a bit more of an easy victory for the Outcast here, because you guys have literally spawned with a sentry bot on this occasion. So yeah, Outcast versus raiders, this is what Type B events are way more about. Type A are mostly pretty peaceful, it's just you meeting people, discussing stuff with them, etc, etc. Type B have a much higher chance of just turning into absolute cocking nonsense. Like, if you're just walking down the road and suddenly nonsense is happening around you, yeah, that was probably a Type B event. Oh, there we go. There's a fun one. Yes, a vertibird just shows up. This one's fun, by the way. It can kind of bug out, and just some more vertibirds start arriving and dropping off more and more troops. Though on this occasion, that appears to have not happened. Some of them are much less dramatic, however. On this occasion, I've literally spawned a single Ibot, and that's it. Here's another one. So, okay, on this occasion, escaped slaves, and I think I know what event this is, so if I'm right, these individuals are going to want to have a chat with me.
Have you heard? A man named Hannibal Hamlin is gathering all the escaped slaves at a safe place called the Temple of the Union. Finally, people are standing up against the slavers. We're on our way to join Hannibal's cause.
And there we flipping go. The problem is, yes, despite their enthusiasm, they don't actually know where they're going. And yes, indeed, if you know where the temple is, you can tell them. Obviously, if you've discovered it, you can point them in that direction. Alternatively, if you've actually already, found and liberated and set them up at the Lincoln Memorial, that becomes the answer instead, and you can point them in that direction. Or, if you're feeling like a real dick, you can point them to the northwest of DC. You're directing them to the Slaver headquarters. But no, I'm going to be a good person and tell them to go to the Lincoln Memorial just behind the Washington Monuments.
Thank you, friend. We won't forget this.
But come on, game. There are two events in particular I'm really looking for, and it would be a real shame if you decided not to give me them today. Oh, hang on, this is promising. This could be precisely what I'm looking for, because I'm seeing super mutants immediately in combat. So just take out one super mutant master and... gosh darn it, nope, that was just a handful of Wastelanders being absolutely annihilated by a super mutant. Yes, one of the events I'm looking for, one of the key tells is going to be seeing super mutants, though... no, I'll give you, this guy was bloody efficient. He just destroyed those Wastelanders before I could get to them. The problem with farming Type B events as opposed to Type A is, yes, Type A is full of many unique events where after you've seen them once, they're removed from the deck, meaning you're more likely to see the other stuff. However, Type B, yes, most of that is repeatable. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Outcast, a lot of Talon, and a lot of Enclave. Though just occasionally, you do get to enjoy, yes, seeing a couple of dicks who always shoot you on sight, turning on each other, and shooting at someone who's not you for once. You know what? I deserve this. This is karma. This is the universe writing itself, okay? I had a really easy time around the Type A event. Alright, I found loads of really cool ones really easily. So, Type B is balancing the universe by refusing to give me the handful of really interesting narrative ones that I know can theoretically spawn here. The particular trick being, there's one I don't know whether it's possible for it to spawn, because there is one exclusive one-off one, which, yes, in theory, could have already spawned, and then I could have, just not seen it when it did. So, it's entirely possible I'm chasing an event that doesn't exist. Okay, I probably should have done this an hour ago, but, yes, remember there's a very easy way for me to verify whether, possibly, I've already seen the event I'm looking for, and just missed it, and it didn't go well, and, turns out that's the case, because the event I was looking for was the Donovan event. Remember Donovan? He was one of Riley's Rangers, and if you complete Riley's Rangers, and if Donovan survived Riley's Rangers, you can run into him again out in the Wasteland, and he's fighting some super mutants, and in the event he survives, whether or not you helped, he will give you a mini-nuke, though he'll be much happier about it if you actually helped him take out the super mutants, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm like very confident at this point that that event spawned, I didn't see it, and Donovan got himself killed. The reason being, I'm back at base right now, Ranger Compound Headquarters, and Donovan's not here. There's only 3 people here, Butcher, Brick, and Riley. So, okay, I'm pretty confident that potentially Donovan just died out in the field because he, spawned behind me and I didn't notice him. So, yes, that's one of the events I was looking for. But unfortunately, the man is already dead because the event already spawned and I just didn't see it. But there is one other event out here I definitely want to see. I'm not going home until we've got this one. And I know it can spawn because it's repeatable. Even if it spawned before, it can spawn again. So, come on game, you've got to give me this sooner or later. Right, I've been doing this for an hour and a half, and I've not found the one event I really want to see. So, what I'm gonna do instead is cheat, and in doing so, show you something really rather interesting that you may be unaware of, which is, like we've been seeing this whole time, enemies, allies, and other random fun bits and pieces will just pop into existence as you're walking down the road, past various environments, etc, etc, but the game doesn't actually make them pop into existence. Instead, the game has to store them somewhere, a weird, terrifying void space where NPCs who are just waiting to be selected and placed into random events are basically just kept in storage. And we're going to go there now to locate the NPC I've been trying to get to appear for the last hour. Welcome to the holding pen, as the game itself refers to it. An endless, perfectly flat void in which there is literally nothing aside from me and the one character I want to actually say hello to. And that is Uncle Leo, who can at any point decide to spawn in for a random Type B event, but on this occasion has just decided he doesn't want to. And Uncle Leo is very important because, aside from Fawkes, he's the only other friendly super mutant in the game. So, guns away. We're not murdering Uncle Leo, alright? Me and him, we're gonna be friends in this terrifying void where NPCs get stored.
You haven't shot at me yet. That's different.
And don't worry, buddy, we're cool and... John, not only have you met a friendly super mutant before, you literally have one as a companion. In fact, fun fact, there is actually an interaction between Uncle Leo and Fawkes. If you've got Fawkes with you, Uncle Leo can comment on it. So, okay buddy, me and you, we're going to be friends.
I was driven out by my brothers. I tried to get them to understand that there was more to life than fighting and killing, but they wouldn't listen. Now I wander the wasteland, hoping to find some meaning to life before I die.
So much like Fawkes, he's a bit on the philosophical side, and yes indeed, very fun fact, and I do not know the answer to this, by the way. If you ask him why his name is Uncle Leo...
I don't know. I've always called myself that. Maybe it was my name before I became this. Maybe I read it in a book a long time ago.
Now, unless I've missed something, I'm not sure, yes, what book he might be referring to. Like, I'm not aware of any famous Uncle Leo in literature, so I have no idea precisely what that's a reference to. If you know, let me know, because that will be solving a great mystery to my mind, and yes indeed. The nice thing about Uncle Leo is, if you happen to run into him really early in the game, he can actually skip you forward a bit in terms of the plot.
Maybe you don't know where we come from. Super mutants, I mean. We aren't born this way. We are created in the cold, dark, metal place where my brothers bring their captives, endlessly trying to make more of us. It was something I could not do. I tried to get them to stop, but they wouldn't listen. They would have killed me if I had not run away.
So there we go. It's hardly a definitive answer, but it can tell you right at the start of the game if you just happen to run into this guy. 1. Why the super mutants capturing people? Because they want to turn them into more super mutants. And 2. Where is it happening? Well, you know what? That's a pretty good description of a vault. So yeah, you can sort of like, intuit a fair bit of what's supposed to be a bit of a surprise down the line just from speaking to Uncle Leo. And even more fun, if you attempt to rob Uncle Leo...
I'm sorry. I've been a poor host. Please, take this. It isn't much, but I want you to have it.
And there we flipping go. He just gives you some dirty pre-war businessware. Magnificent. So, Uncle Leo, I'm really sorry, but just so we're clear, I am attempting to rob you.
No, you're not. I want you to take it as a gift. I meant to give it to you anyway. Have you ever watched the moon rise over the wasteland? I only wish I had something as wonderful as that to give you.
Uncle Leo is an absolute flipping star. And it's so weird how, yes, this wonderful character is just buried away in an extremely rare Type B encounter that there is a good chance you'll never have seen. Like, I think I may have organically run into this guy, like, once in all the time I've been playing Fallout 3. And he refused to spawn for me after an hour and a half of trying. And what's even more fun is, that's not actually it. That's the end of his conversation, absolutely. We could just say, I have to go now, and that's the end of this conversation. But he is not a one-and-done encounter. You can actually run into him again. Whenever you run into him the second and third time, he actually gains more dialogue. And I'm curious if, yes, by basically moving myself away and then moving back to him, I might be able to trigger the almost never seen second and third sets of dialogue. Okay, tragically not, or if there is a way to do this, it is beyond my ability to manipulate the console. I've tried using the COC command to teleport away, then teleporting back, and he's still in phase 1 of his conversation. But if you are able to locate Uncle Leo multiple times, and as you've seen, it's bloody difficult to find him just once, the second time you run into him, he's got a new story for you about how he accidentally fell into the basement of a house, wounded himself, and after he recovered, climbed out with a big stockpile of water. He was then attacked by humans who wanted the water, and he ran away, leaving it to them. The third time you run into him, having heard the story he told you the second time, you can start to express concern for him, saying, you know what? I'm worried about you. And he basically tells you he's fine, he'll just make do. And that's it, it doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't, do anything, there's no mission or anything, but yes, there's just this random character who is almost impossible to find, even if you're actively trying to look for him, and then you've got to find him 3 times in a row, and even with console commands, you basically can't do it. Uncle Leo is possibly the most well-hidden secret in all of Fallout 3. It is remarkably hard to actually track him down 3 times in a row to get the full story. So there we go, as the Outcasts and the Enclave declare war on each other once again, and by the way, this is going to be an absolute walkover for the Enclave. Plasma weaponry against laser, yeah, this is not going to be a fair fight. And they outnumber the Outcasts, well, that's just flipping cheating. Yes, indeed. How about we call it a part there, because that is pretty much every random encounter of note in the game. Either seen or discussed if I couldn't bloody find it, and I appreciate this is probably going to be a quite short episode when I edit it down, but it has taken hours going around trying to find the bastards. But I really just do enjoy the random events of Fallout 3. It's just, yeah, a really nice system I do rather enjoy, that arguably does, well, okay, in theory, work better than a slideshow. The benefit of a slideshow, however, is you get to see the slideshow. As we've seen today, it can be rather difficult to actually find the closure to these various missions, even if you're actually spending hours trying to make it happen. So, yes indeed, random encounters. They are a funny old thing in many, many ways. So, yes indeed, let's call it a part there. And next week, we'll be back in much more familiar terrain, because we have got some actual flipping plot to do. So, hopefully, you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Fallout, Tale of Two Wastelands. Thank you very much, and goodbye. If we just hide the bodies, nobody needs to know about this. Yes! My stupid plan has worked! It turns out I'm a genius! The giant rat scorpion is not gone! Oh, hang on, there's more yet, though. I'm still being very shocked. Guys, where's the NCR? Nobody needs to know.